It's a very windy and beautiful day in Florida today. It's finally October. The temperature is starting to go down to normal, which is like 80, 85 degrees. I have shade in my driveway again, and this is a black E92 335i. This thing is beat up. It's so bad. This thing is pretty clapped, but hopefully with some hard work, we can get it looking nice. But overall, we're not chasing perfection with this one. We're just looking to make it presentable. Let's get to it. Alright, I don't know if we've talked much about this 335i, but it's actually owned by Tony upstairs. He ended up getting it for a really solid deal. It just needs turbos. Go figure, it's an E92 335i, and those little baby turbos have died. And it's fun, but those twin turbos are so tiny, and they're so prone to failure. So, what most people do, or what they should do, put a big beefy single turbo on this thing and have a lot of fun. But before he does anything with this car, it is brought to me to make it pretty. As you guys can see, there's some heavy oxidation on the hood and the roof. I've done test spots on the hood and we can save it. The roof, haven't tried it, we'll get into that. On the rear, we have oxidation and paint cracking. If you remember the blue steel E46 coupe we did, all we could do in that case was make it really glossy. So that's what we're gonna try to do with this. Otherwise, let's go ahead and get into a paint inspection. See that this has been resprayed or the paint underneath is failing. So honestly, I'm not too sure what that could be other than just poor paint work or sanding work, even paint damage. I haven't really looked around at the rest of the panels, so as I go through the entire car, actually, we'll see what we find. We're actually gonna be using a 2-inch pad for the rest of the day, going through each and every panel with this, just to make sure that A, my methodology of cutting works good on every panel, but B, just to see what we can actually work with. So just real quick about the polishing setup and why. We're going to be using an orange pad from Griot's Garage. It's an orange foam cutting pad. The foam is very important because when you're dealing with damaged paint that has oxidation, what you're doing is essentially cleaning the paint. You're not really focused on correcting it, you're really focused on cleaning it and getting all that crumb up and making it nice and glossy. And when you do that, it gets into the pad. And when you have a foam pad, it is much easier to blow out and clean crumb from a foam pad than any other pad. And the reason we're using the Meguiar's cutting compound is not only because it's super aggressive, but it's nowhere near as aggressive with BMW paint. BMW paint's really hard. Think about it like using Koch Chemi's fine cut with a foam pad on domestic paint, more medium. That's how this acts with this. Now, why would I not throw something like Stoner Car Care's clear coat compound at this? That stuff is very aggressive. And honestly, I would be if there wasn't such varying damage through every panel. I mean, one panel has swirls over here, and then over here it's like completely oxidized. And if I use some serious stuff on that end, it'll burn through. We don't want that. All right, I think I'm gonna be done talking for a while. Sorry about that. It's just very complicated. And some people might wanna know why I'm doing it this way and not another way. Let's do the hood. Got a mustache growing. So we're gonna start today off by working with the front bumper. First off, just to let you know, front bumper is clapped, man. There's not a whole lot we can do with it. There are swirls and stuff, certain parts of the bumper are in good shape, but what we're really gonna focus on here is just making it glossy. This is actually perfect for showing the process. I'm working very slow and very carefully, watching the paint as I'm polishing. So we started here, right? This is not touched. And then we come over here to this part where it's been cut. And you can see how hazy it is. And then this has been refined once. And we still have another step of refinement to go. But to that is the difference. So what I'm doing is I'm cutting with 105 from Meguiar's, and then I'm going to go through, wipe it with IPA, clean out the pad, use the same orange pad but with fine cut from Koch Chemie to refine it, and then I'll go through with a yellow pad to go ahead and refine it even further with intensive polish or intensive from Menzerna. That's the process. We're going to see how it goes. I'm doing half of the hood, as you guys can see. You know, a lot of detailers will look at this and go, nah, I'm not gonna mess with that, go get it resprayed. And I understand why, because it's almost a liability. But as long as you make clear with the customer, or in this case a friend, that it could not be good, it could burn through, it could do many other things, and they understand that, and they're clear with it, you know, why not try it? A lot of people just don't want to deal with it. For me, I find this is fun. I get to work and learn and figure out and try different methods and kind of just understand how to work with oxidation even more than I already did before. You know, in this case, I'm working with oxidation more than I probably ever have. I've messed with maybe 2 or 3 cars with heavy oxidation like this, and with this, I'm finding newer methods every time I pass with a polisher, and it's fantastic. I love it. That's why I love doing what I do. What an insane, just, all right, I promise it's probably the last half and half I'll end up doing. Probably not. Next day. This won't correct out, but I'll give it my best shot. One thing I've learned from working with the roof and now coming to here is that yes, it's very like oxidation, but it's not necessarily the paint being thin or anything like that. No, the paint checks out. It's just so heavily damaged. So heavily damaged. So I think we're just gonna throw a massive wool blue pad at it, a very aggressive pad with some very aggressive polish. So I'm probably gonna pull out some stoners and take a whack at it. Yes, I'm gonna do a half and half. This is just way too much fun. Finally, after waiting all summer, I'm putting on a hoodie. Can you believe it? Florida's car season is starting out. Feels good. Alright, so today we're going to be refining this with the final polishing step. We're going to be using a yellow Rupes pad, or no, actually a Griots pad. Rupes? What am I using? I don't remember, but I've recently fallen in love with this stuff, UHS Easy Gloss from Rupes. And although it's considered a one-step compound and polish, it refines beautifully, especially if you're working with much harder paint than usual. It being a BMW, this is much harder paint than usual. Oh. So now that the car has been completely IPA'd down, we did some toothpick rework around the car, as well as getting all the tape off and stuff. I think we're good to coat this. And it's going to look fantastic. What a car to polish, man. I've never really got to mess with flat black German paint, except for, I believe it was a Brilliant Black S3. And the only other thing that I couldn't get nice was the tail lights on the trunk. That's a very common thing with BMW, especially with E36, 46, E90 series. It happens, those things get eaten away while the outside ones on the fender do just fine. Let's prepare and coat it. Button up a couple of small things, and then we're done. We're back, and this is the final day with the BMW, although I have kind of like unlimited time with it. We're like in the 9th day now. That's how long the cutting process took. I know with the magic of video editing, I was able to get all of that correcting done in like 15 minutes, but it took about 6-7 days, and I took 2 days off in between because of the weekend and had a massive event that I had to go to and do some filming. But the coating has sat overnight and it's pretty much cured. I'm personally right now using Beat It Up from 3M. I'm testing that out. Only reason I'm using Beat It Up from 3M is because I had a lot of people telling me, hey, this is a very good replacement for your bead maker, since now bead maker is like $45 for a gallon. I mean, everything's more expensive now, go figure, but this is like 30 something per gallon, so not too bad. And so far it works really well. I'm still a massive fan of Center Car Care Ceramic Quick Detailer. I love using that, especially after I get done using a ceramic coating, but I'm testing this out right now, so we're gonna see how it goes.